Hello everyone, today, this is a lot different from my usual content, but today I wanted to talk about reptiles and invertebrates, which is consists of isopods, millipedes, springtails, bugs, basically. Bugs, insects, arachnids, some land crustaceans, because isopods are crustacean, as well as springtails, which I have in this tank on my right here. So I have 5 categories, which will consist of what pet you're going to get, enclosure, husbandry, diet, and care requirements or safety type stuff. And that'll be it. Hey, hi, so I'm back. So some pets that you could get is this little guy, a leopard gecko. Could be a beetle, millipede. Even keep springtails in a tiny tin. They're fun to watch, even though all they do is just eat and play. They're basically the equivalent of shrimp. So some pets I'd recommend would definitely be this guy. My favorite bug is a millipede and a darkling beetle, which they don't live too long, but I actually am propping my phone on my enclosure for my darkling beetle. Or technically mealworms because they haven't pupated yet, but yeah. Sorry, I keep going silent. This guy's just crazy. Okay, so enclosure requirements would be if you're going to keep a millipede, I'd keep it in a 10-gallon or a deli cup. It goes, or a critter catcher, goes for literally any bug. There's some acrylic enclosures you can get, and for an enclosure for this type of guy, a leopard gecko, he'd need a minimum of 40, but I would recommend about a 50 or a 60. For other bigger ones, like bearded dragons, blue-tongued skinks, ball pythons, I would recommend a 4x2x2 or bigger, because the 4x2x2 is the bare minimum for them, because they do get fairly large, about from my side of my head to here-ish, and they get about thickness of my hand thick. Oh, what's up? Okay, so some husbandry requirements would be, I would look for your, for the pets, I would automatically get a thermometer and UVB light, so they can get proper calcium. Bugs necessarily don't need the UVB, but I would put supplements in their food or cover their bugs with supplements. Not vitamin D supplements, calcium supplements. Also depends on how high their food is in calcium. This guy's food, black soldier fly larva, is very high in calcium and does not need to be coated in any calcium. It needs to be coated in multivitamins. So I would check your temperature gradient, your humidity gradient, substrate. Substrate's a big thing, because if you give him the wrong type substrate, he can eat it and then become impacted like calcium sand. Never use calcium sand because they eat it and they can get impacted. For snakes, I would recommend mix of cocoa fiber and reptisoil for ball pythons. I'm not too sure about other pests because I don't have them or have any experience with them. I've had experience with crested geckos, leopard geckos, invertebrates, and a ball python, because my friend has a ball python and I sometimes babysit it. I also know a couple things about mammals, but this is not correlating to the video. Sorry, I'm posing with him. Okay, so for enclosure requirements again, the photo on the right will be for what's it called? It'll be Roche's tank. That's what it looks like now. And this is an example of a proper tank. And then I'll show a couple photos of proper tanks which are not safe. Please do not have these. A couple things that for like care requirements and safety, please do not use reptile carpet. Their nails will get caught in it, and it could possibly be lethal by pulling out their nails and making them bleed out. Not recommended whatsoever. Or heating rock, because heating rock can give them chemical burns. Or not chemical burns, but really bad heat burns from unregulated heat. And it's just not safe for them, because overhead heating's the best. And the only time I recommend a heat mat is for a millipede, and you don't put it on the bottom. You put it on the side, so they don't burn themselves, because if they go farther and farther down, they'll think that they're getting colder, but they're getting warmer. No, what's that? He's smelling me. Some other things I would recommend that you don't use would be anything scent, like nail polish, candles, incense, perfumes, any sort of chemical smell, or anything, like not even essential oils. You can't use those because it can be highly toxic to them, and they get respiratory issues very easily, and you will learn your lesson. Like this guy right here has a bit of a respiratory infection, or he did, because I used nail polish once, and I had my door open. I thought the ventilation was good, and he got sick. But he's okay now. Look, he's safe. I can admit I have made some mistakes in the past, but yeah. Roche, you want to come down? I think I'm gonna go put him back. I'll be right back. Hello, I'm back. So a couple other things I'd like to talk about would be definitely clutter, because as you saw in the photo of my reptiles tank, they do need a fair amount of clutter. Some species don't, and most importantly would be, this shouldn't be the only video you watch about your upcoming reptile, of course, because this isn't the full breakdown of everything, and this is just a short summary for fun. Because I definitely didn't talk about care requirements for every single reptile. I kind of just gave the basics of what you need to research. So leopard geckos do need a fair amount of clutter, because they get stressed in empty spaces, and I'm thinking he needs a lot more clutter. So my tank isn't like a perfect example whatsoever. It'd be one of them, like a good example, but it's not great, because first off, he doesn't have a bioactive tank. Second off, some of his stuff in his tank, like, is found in outside, which I would boil treat or oven treat it before you do put it in the tank, like rocks, trees, or not trees, I mean wood and leaves, because it could have bacteria from the outside and could get them highly sick. So please do your research and make sure your pet has a comfortable life, and make sure that you actually follow things and don't listen like I did, because yeah, it's not good. Also, a couple other things I just want to say for fun is that you could put what's it called? You could put like gel clings to their tank if they don't get stressed out, or stickers like on the front of their tank for like aesthetic purposes. Roach has gel clings of bunnies, flowers, and carrots for Easter, and he doesn't get stressed out by them whatsoever. But please do test it first, and if your pet doesn't show signs it does not like it, remove him, because I had to for my darkling beetle who passed away, but that's why I'm getting a new one, or making a new one, because when darkling beetles are born or molt from their larvae or from their pupa stage, they can lose limbs if they don't come out properly, and that's what happened to mine, and it only had 4 legs, so it passed away. All right, well, that's it. Please do your research and have a fun time. Bye.